I am DJ Paris with the Keeping It Real podcast, and here are 10 stats for the month that you need but don't have. Hey, it's February, which in Chicago means two things. The wind is personally attacking you, and spring market is right around the corner, 8 weeks out. So before you sleepwalk into March with the same listing presentation you used last year, I have 10 stats alternating between Chicago specific and stuff every agent in America needs to hear that are going to change how you operate this month. Fair warning, stat number 8 is going to sting, but you need to hear it. So let's go. All right, stat number 1, the 45% trap. Chicago median home prices are up 45% since 2019, 265 to 385 at the peak. Now, that sounds like a rocket ship, right? Except here's the part nobody is talking about. Total homes sold in 2025 were only up 0.6% over 2024, basically flat. So prices are not rising because demand is exploding. Prices are rising because there is literally nothing to buy. And in a low volume market, overpriced listings do not just sit, they rot. So here's your move. Pull up the absorption rate for your zip codes today. If you're talking about taking a listing this spring, show sellers this data. Price within 3% of the market on day one, or you are gambling with their equity. Now, if you're thinking, okay, but what can I actually control? This next stat is for you. All right, number 2, the video gap. Only 10% of sellers say their agent used video to market their home. 10%. Meanwhile, 73% of homeowners say they would be more likely to list with an agent who uses video. 3 out of 4 sellers want it. 9 out of 10 agents are not doing it. That is not a gap. That is a canyon. And all you have to do is stand on the other side, is pull out your phone and shoot a 60-second walkthrough of your next listing. You do not need to be Spielberg. You need to be present. 1 video a week for 8 weeks, and you are, by the math, in the top 10% of agents in the country. The bar is underground. And speaking of things going wrong, the 20% club. Now, 1 in 5 active listings in Chicagoland right now has taken a price reduction. 20% of agents and sellers got it wrong on price. So this action step costs you nothing. Go to your MLS right now. Search active listings with price reductions in your farm area. Screenshot that list. Bring it to your next listing appointment. Here are 47 homes in our neighborhood that priced wrong and had to cut. Here's what I would do differently for you. Now, that screenshot is free and it wins you the listing. Now, remember that video stat earlier? Here's the number that backs it up. This is called the 403% number. Now, listings with video generate 403% more inquiries. Not 4% more, 4 times more. And video and social media gets 1,200% more shares than text and image posts combined. So here's what you do. Your next listing, shoot the walkthrough, post it as a reel, and track the results for 30 days alongside a listing where you only used photos. Then bring that comparison to your next listing appointment as a case study. Here's what happened when I used video versus when I did not. 0 budget, 1 phone. You just built your own proof. All right, back to Chicago, because this next one is a lead magnet hiding in plain sight. This is called the rent rocket. Now, Chicago has been a top 5 market nationally for rent growth for 7 straight quarters. Rents are up 4% over last year. Median rent is just under $2,000, and if you want a 2-bedroom, you are north of $2,400 a month. Do the math. $2,400 in rent is almost $29,000 a year, 0 equity. A $350,000 purchase at 6.1% with 5% down is roughly $2,100 a month. Build that rent versus buy comparison for your top 3 neighborhoods. Post it once a month on social. This is a lead magnet for every realtor who has not yet done this math, and most of them have not, which brings up a bigger question. Where should your leads actually come from? All right, the referral math. According to NAR's 2025 member profile, the average agent earns 20% of their business from repeat clients and 21% from referrals. That's 41% of their business from people they already know. 0 ad spend, 0 cold calling, 0 prospecting. And yet most agents spend the majority of their time and money chasing strangers. So here is your homework. Open your phone or your CRM if you have one. Well, we're going to get to that. And find every person that you've closed a deal with in the last 3 years. Text 5 of them this week at a minimum, not a newsletter, not a mass email, a real human, hey, how's the house? Text, 5 a week, every week, that's your 41%. Now, let's go back to Chicago because the next one might change how you prep your buyers entirely. All right, 2 markets, 1 metro. In the city proper, single family inventory dropped 22% year over year, 22%, right? Now, meanwhile, the broader suburbs saw inventory tick up. So you are working in 2 completely different markets depending on which side of the city limits your buyer is shopping. Now, if you serve both, stop using the same buyer script. City buyers need escalation clause, prep, and pre-inspection strategies. Suburban buyers have room to negotiate closing credits and rate buy downs. Create 2 separate buyer prep emails and send the right one before the first showing. One size does not fit all right now. All right, here it is, stat number 8. This is the one I warned you about. This is called the $36,000 wake-up call. Now, the median realtor grossed $58,100 in 2024, but after expenses, net income $36,600, and it gets worse. 62% of agents in their first 2 years made less than $10,000 gross. Let that land. That's not a career. That's an expensive hobby. So here's the uncomfortable action step. Calculate your cost per transaction right now. Total expenses divided by closed sales. If you do not know that number, that is the problem. Set a monthly 30-minute CEO meeting with yourself, just you, a spreadsheet, and your real numbers. The agents who treat this like a business get paid like business owners. The rest get $36,000. All right, deep breath. 2 more, and these last 2 are about fixing exactly that problem. All right, this is called the Golden Handcuffs. The reason inventory stays suffocated, well, pretty simple, right? 69% of all U.S. homeowners with a mortgage are locked in below 5%, many at 3%, right? More than half are under 4%. These people are not selling because the math does not math. And most agents avoid this conversation because it's awkward. Do not. Build a break-even move calculator. Show potential sellers the monthly cost difference, yes, but also show them the equity upside over 5 years, the tax benefits, and the lifestyle value of the move. Be the agent who runs the real numbers instead of the one who says, when you're ready, call me. The agents who own this conversation are the ones getting those listings. And as a note, I actually sold, and I lost my 3% loan, and now I have a 6 point something, but I got an $85,000 reduction in the property I bought because other people didn't want to sell and buy. So that's another thing to consider, right? All right, here's the last stat, and it ties the whole thing together. All right, this is called the $60 website versus the $1,650 car. All right, now CRM adoption drives a 41% increase in lead conversions. CRM adoption, 41%, right? Meanwhile, the median agent spends $60 a year on their CRM and $1,650 on car expenses. 27 times more to get in your car than your digital storefront. If you do not have a CRM, sign up for one this week. Free options exist. If you have one and it's basically an expensive address book, block 30 minutes to set up one automated follow-up sequence, just one. That single automation will outperform every dollar you put in your gas tank. All right, guys, 10 stats, 10 action steps. Every single one is something you can do this week, not next quarter, not when things slow down, this week. Now, if this was useful, send it to one agent who needs to hear stat number 8. You know who they are. And if you want the sources behind every number, the links are in the description. Spring market is coming.